Go right ahead.
I'm Andrew Hara,
And I'm Ben Morash.
and we're here to talk to firefighters about the smoke alarm. So, what is your name?
My name's Kevin Murray. I'm one of the captains here at the Fisher's Landing Firehouse for the City of Vancouver.
Okay, we have some questions to ask you. What do you know about the history of the smoke alarm?
Well, smoke alarms have improved as the technology has improved. And the generation that we have right now is the best technology we have out there, as long as people take the opportunity to make sure that they have a working smoke detector by doing a quarterly or at least half-yearly check. We suggest that people change their batteries when they change their clock. So when you spring ahead and fall back with the clock, if you have a battery-operated smoke detector, we recommend that they change them then. But again, the technology is great. They're really the fire department's first line of defense. Our fire station here, we have 5 people. We currently cover 12.5 square miles. And in that 12.5 square miles, we have over 42,000 people that live in this area, just in our first alarm station. So for those 42,000 people, if they don't have a working smoke detector, they're putting themselves at risk. So we really call them our first line of defense, because they're there 24/7, 365, working to alert people as long as they're in working condition.
And how have you seen smoke alarms save lives?
Well, not only as a station captain here going out on calls, but also one of the public information officers is another function that I perform. There's been countless times where I've gone to where people have been notified and alerted. We had a fire about a year and a half ago, just about 6 blocks south of us, Sunday afternoon. Mother and 2 young kids were upstairs sleeping, and they had a fire that started downstairs. And if their smoke alarm wouldn't have notified them, they wouldn't have been able to get out of the house. They would have been trapped upstairs, and we would have had to rescue them. I've seen countless times, though, of extremely near misses where people have actually been woke up by the heat. We had a set of bunk beds last year that caught on fire. 7 people living in a fairly small house and no working smoke detectors. But the fact that the bed was actually on fire woke these folks up. And they were very, very fortunate.
Okay, can you tell us about the different types of smoke alarms?
Well, I know there's a wide gambit of them out there. Did you have a question on a specific one, on a photoelectric, the dual action ones?
Well, can you tell us about like the differences in them?
To be honest with you, I'm really not an expert in that. I know the dual action photoionization, where it collects smoke in 2 different types of capacities right now, is kind of the leading technology, and that's ones that we have. When we go out on calls, and if it's a medical call or a fire call, we try to always make sure that people have working smoke detectors, and if they don't have one, we'll install one for them for free. And the dual ionization ones are the ones that we're installing right now, but I don't have a lot of information on exactly how they work.
Okay, thanks.
How long do you think it takes an average family to safely get out of the house after the smoke alarm has alerted them?
That's a great question. We use this question a lot when we go and talk to primarily younger school children. Every school has an evacuation plan. If you have a fire alarm at your school, you know exactly where to go to exit, and you're going to meet out at a special place. Your teacher takes a roll to make sure everybody got out of the room safely. We ask people to do the same drill. It's called an EDITH drill. Exit drill in the home is what that stands for. So where your family would be able to practice having a fire alarm and practice meeting outside, either in the front yard or in the backyard at a safe place at a neighbor's, but picking out a specific location. It's going to vary on evacuations, whether it's daytime and people are awake, or if you're asleep at night. We would hope that under a minute either way, people would be able to hear the alarm, quickly realize what's going on, and then quickly exit the house. But there's other things where there's just a few little variables too. We always advocate that people sleep with their bedroom's door closed. Do you guys sleep with your doors closed? Sometimes.
Mostly closed.
This door is part of your fire protection that's built into your house. every door, this one's a lot heavier than the normal one, but these doors have what's called a fire rating. So if you have your door closed, it's going to help keep, if there's a fire outside, it's going to help keep the fire out of your room. It's going to help keep the smoke out of your room. And if you hear the smoke alarm going off, the first thing you should do is go up and feel the door with the back of your hand, see if it's hot. And if it is hot, then you would want to try and get out through one of your windows if it was safe to do that.
Just a question, but wouldn't those doors also prevent the smoke and fire from leaving your room if the fire were to be inside of your room?
Well, that's a valid point. The chances of having a fire in a room, there's really, you would have maybe a heater of some sort, or usually it's something like smoking in bed, or by something combustible, versus the greater chances of fire are outside in the kitchen area or in the electrical area. So it's that's a very good question though, and it's one that should be pondered. But the majority of your fires are going to be out. That's why there's always smoke detectors in hallways, so that you can be notified very quickly.
Okay, thank you.
Have you ever seen anything disastrous happen as a result of there not being a working smoke alarm in the house?
Yes, I've been on fires where people have lost their lives because they did not have working smoke detectors. People, if you guys have probably seen movies where they have fires burning in them, and there would be like little fires burning all over the place, but you can still kind of see all the way across the room. If there was a fire in this room, it would be pretty much unrecognizable. The sheetrock would be, everything would be black, everything would be melted, and it's really, and sometimes the smoke detectors will perish in that too once it gets hot enough, but they, if they're in good working condition. But fires are very devastating. They create a lot of smoke. Generally, it's the smoke that kills the people because you have to have fresh air to breathe. That's why we have air tanks that we wear when we go in. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, I've seen people pay the ultimate price where they've died because they haven't had smoke detectors.
In your best guess, how many lives do you think have been saved because of smoke alarms in eastern Vancouver?
That's really, really hard to say. I couldn't really give you a number other than the fact that, out of those 42,000 people that are just in our station area, the majority of them do have working smoke detectors, and there's been public education campaigns that have gone on for decades to get people to have working smoke detectors. But I will say, last week we went to a house and it was on a medical call, and we checked their smoke detector after the medical call was over. And it's like, boy, that doesn't look quite right. And I just picked it up, and it was just a shell. There was nothing inside of it. So again, that was a family with about 5 or 6 people, several young kids living in the house, and it's really a gamble. They did not have a working smoke detector.
Well, thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
Have a
Those
nice
were
day.
excellent questions.
Have a
Thanks,
nice day.
guys.
Thanks.